next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that.
Bill Maher just shut down Whoopi Goldberg and made sure she knew her place. This wasn't just some debate. This was a full-blown battle between free speech and the never-ending nonsense of cancel culture.
Attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid shit on a regular basis. They just happen to coincide.
Maher went in hard from the start, and Whoopi had no choice but to sit there and take it. Stick around and we will take you through everything, and trust me, we won't miss any juicy details. Let's take a trip back to almost 3 years ago when Bill Maher said this.
Everyone knows Corona is no walk in the park, because you literally can't walk in the park. But at some point, the daily drumbeat of depression and terror veers into panic porn. Enough with the life will never be the same headlines. And stop showing us this. You know, everything looks scary when you magnify it 1,000 times.
It all started with Maher taking on the COVID fuss. Bill Maher had enough of the nonstop doom and gloom. While everyone else hoarded toilet paper and bragged about booster shot number 37, he dared to suggest something wild, actually living.
It's terrifying. Millions more out of work. What the is it's terrifying doing in a headline? Granted, it's a quote, but who are they quoting? Trump? Fauci? Stephen King? No, they're quoting an event planner in North Hollywood.
Maher thought it was time to adapt, adjust, and heaven forbid, move on, instead of letting the virus keep everyone in lockdown mode forever.
Here's a pubic hair. Boo! Last month, the Washington Post ran the headline, "It feels like a war zone," with this picture. This is not a war zone. This is a man with a box of eggs. And I've never seen a war zone with this much bacon.
But the woke mob wasn't having it. To them, his call for resilience was basically a crime against humanity, suggesting a balance between caution and normal life. Might as well have skipped leg day at the gym. And that's when Whoopi Goldberg jumped in. Whoopi Goldberg wasn't laughing. She was fuming. Maher had the audacity to mock the never-ending COVID-19 rules, joking about masks, boosters, and being treated like a barcode at checkout. But Whoopi, the self-appointed guardian of pandemic righteousness, wasn't having it.
Listen, nobody on the planet really wants to go through this. This is not something we're doing because it's, sexually gratifying. This is what we're doing to protect our families. And you don't have to do it, but stay away from everybody. Because if you're the one who's not paying attention and you're coughing and sneezing, you don't want to, then stay out of the public, man. This is not, nobody wants this.
She clutched her pearls on the View, outraged that anyone dared to move on. Losing loved ones was tragic, but to her, questioning the rules was practically a crime. If people didn't want to follow every precaution, they should just stay away from society altogether. Sarah Haynes jumped in, suggesting masks might as well be permanent. Meanwhile, Maher had already left the hysteria behind, calling out the overblown panic. His viral interview with Bari Weiss, who declared she was done with COVID fear-mongering, only fueled the outrage. MSNBC's Mehdi Hasan pouted that even his kids handled the pandemic better, because apparently being scared forever is now a sign of maturity. That's Whoopi, always ready to attack if someone steps outside the woke line. But instead of turning against Maher, her rant backfired. Fans backed him up, and even ABC gave her a timeout.
But it's the View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
Looks like Hollywood has limits when it comes to the woke crowd. Fans called it karma, and Maher had a spicy comeback. He loves being right and making sure everyone knows it.
Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend, we can disagree with each other, should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech. She should be there. She shouldn't get a timeout.
However, Maher did not take the difference of opinion to heart and even spoke for Whoopi, calling it disgusting to make her sit out of the show for 2 weeks. And fans? They loved it, knowing they stood for the right person.
Point here, again, I don't agree with her on Michael Vick, but we grew up in two different worlds, which the white people imposed upon the black people. They are going to sometimes have a very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting.
For Maher, there's no such thing as karma. Life's just random. It's like when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and eaten by lions. Hilarious, right? And you already know who the lion is in this story. Whoopi tried to take Maher down with her woke outrage and moral superiority, but she got tangled in her own hypocrisy. The woke mob is always hunting for someone to cancel, but they always end up messing it up themselves. Maher didn't just survive, he thrived, leaving Whoopi with a bruised ego and a 2-week timeout to think it over. You'd think Whoopi would have learned her lesson, but nope. She came back swinging and made one of the biggest mistakes of her life.
It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Whoopi Goldberg set the internet on fire in early 2022 when she claimed the Holocaust wasn't about race, but just man's inhumanity to man. The backlash was swift, earning her a 2-week suspension.
Yes, and so that is what race means to me. When you talk about being a racist, I was saying you can't call this racism. This was evil. This wasn't based on the skin. You couldn't tell who was Jewish. They had to delve deeply to figure it out.
Instead of learning her lesson, she doubled down in December, calling it white-on-white violence.
The Holocaust wasn't about race, and it was instead about man's inhumanity to man. But it is indeed about race, because Hitler and the Nazis considered Jews to be an inferior race. Now, words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said, and I stand.
That take didn't age well, sparking another round of outrage. Realizing the damage, she scrambled to apologize, insisting she never meant to double down, though by then, the damage was done. If the tables were turned and Maher was the one in trouble, the outrage squad wouldn't hold back. They'd be on him faster than a seagull on a dropped French fry. The same folks who preach kindness and second chances would suddenly forget all that, ready to cancel him before he could even clear his throat. Woke culture loves its moral high ground until it becomes inconvenient. Then they change the rules faster than a kid losing at board games. So in their attempt to trip up Maher, they tried every trick in the book, twisting words and setting traps, hoping he'd stumble, but that failed miserably again, and Maher proved himself calm, composed, and open to criticism, unlike Whoopi.
First segment, you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected.
Yeah.
So,
In the end, Maher always managed to school Whoopi from pandemic rants to historical slip-ups, putting her in her place. But the real question is, did she learn anything? What do you think? Let us know in the comments.